prayer. Tommy, if you'll lead us in prayer after the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, Lord, as we come together tonight as city council members, the mayor and staff, the citizens of Beebe, Lord, we ask that as we go through the business of the city, Lord, we ask that you be in our presence, Lord, and as we look to the future, Lord, and see how we can best serve the community, Lord, we ask that you would guide us and lead us and help us to make good decisions, Lord, and ultimately glorify you and just bring people close to you in Christ's name.
Amen.
Amen.
Alderman Duggar.
Here.
Alderman Stark.
Here.
Alderman Lindsay.
Here.
Alderman McCormick.
Here.
Alderman Lightfoot did say he would be absent this evening. Alderman McLean. Here. We have a quorum.
All right, we're going to start with our presentation on the park. Mr. Carr is here, and he has your concept drawings. And just remember, this is for you to use with the public to explain what we are doing, and then there will be some changes along the way. So, Mr. Carr, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'll just stand over here by these boards for right now. As the mayor said, my name is Perry Carr. I left a card around for all of you there, and those are just copies of these boards I have. And I guess maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, I got with the mayor and with Ms. Spears and discussed some projects y'all wanted to do to build a new softball complex, and also some improvements out of your existing ballparks. And so we were given the task of coming up with an initial concept drawing of how it would fit on the property out there, and how we go about getting that done. So I guess the purpose of this meeting is to show that to y'all. And I left my card, and it's got all the information on email and phone numbers for me. If y'all want to reach out to me on any suggestions that we missed, because this is a first rendering, it's the first shot at it, and we're just coming back to show you what we came up with by the feedback we got from you guys and what you wanted. But I understand you're wanting a softball complex that can also be used for baseball, that is competitive in the state for bringing in statewide and regional tournaments. So some of this facility is a lot fancier in terms of making it pretty and aesthetic and landscaping and those kinds of things than we could do just doing it the cheapest way you could do it. And so our goal was to do something that stood out for BB and to make it something that would be, other towns were talking about, did you see that softball complex they built in BB? And the reason that they want to choose your town to have their tournament in, and that, as well as, of course, local use. And I'll forget a million things as we go. I do have a little bitty short, minute-long video of the facility I'll show before we get started going through the floor plan and those kinds of things. Y'all have to move this meeting a week ahead of what we thought. And so I've still got a lot of work to do in the next week or two to get everything fine-tuned and finished. But that gives me some time to add in things that I didn't think of, or that y'all would like to see in the project. So if you want to go ahead and run that video, it'll sort of walk you through the softball complex. It's only like a minute long. Before it's finished, by the end of the week, I'll have pretty pictures of videos of kids, real kids playing ball, and interior shots. You can see the insides of the concession rooms and the restrooms. I don't have that yet, but I will for you long before next council meeting. And so did that one that says Inscape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it not gonna work? Yeah, it's sort of big. It's only about a minute long, but it's a lot of juice. There we go. Okay, so this is just coming from the entrance on what is now called Evans Lane. You can see a major parking area we put in there next to your existing pond. So that gets us over to the 5-field complex. That black strip around it is a walking and biking trail. we, on the next video or the next drawing, both that you see, we're gonna greatly enhance the distance of that to link it to different parts of the park. I just don't have that drawn in yet. One thing Mr. Duggar brought up is that we have a little fishing pier developed out there for like handicap fishing on that little pond there. And we'll expand that as well. This is just coming into the entrance and landscaping, flags, that kind of thing. Here's your entrance to your building. So the building has its own separate seating area for each field. And then above that, you see your press box areas. They're all glass, of course, all air conditioned. We used a lot of timber to make this really more of a standout rather than your just real rusty old metal stuff that starts looking bad. And that, I think, will really add to the richness of the facility and make it look better. Your dugouts are also timber. So that's sort of a theme throughout the park, to use a lot of natural facilities. Of course, we have a playground there in the middle. So that's pretty much it. That's as far as I could get today. I was going to finish in your video, but we're going to enhance that. It'll be a good 3 or 4 minutes longer with kids playing and things like that.
Anything else on there you want to see?
And I'm sorry.
Any other files you want to see?
No, they're just, that's just, so thank you. So, and please feel free to interrupt as we go and ask questions, as that's a much better way of doing it. One thing we've discussed out there in that park is adding other facilities other than just softball and baseball that make people want to come there and use it, and gives other people in the community a reason to support this project. So one thing we could discuss is maybe making that playground or another playground all-inclusive. We can certainly do that very simply. We're definitely going to enhance the walking and biking trails and do some more landscaping, and maybe a couple of pavilions out there in the shaded area, for picnics and for people to use. And the idea I came up with that I hadn't even pitched to the mayor yet is it's just super inexpensive to do, and I understand y'all don't have one in Beebe. That would be great, I think, in this facility with all those beautiful oak trees out there and all the shade that you got in that facility, is that a dog park. Dog parks are practically cheap. I mean, they're nothing to build. You need some pretty fencing, some black coated fencing so it doesn't look nasty in a few years. Water hydrant and some park benches and maybe a picnic table. And that's pretty much all you got to do to build a water park. Have water to it and have seating and have shade. And it's just a no-brainer for me to add that kind of facility out there, Mayor. And I'm overstepping my bounds, throwing stuff at you. You hadn't heard me say it, but I came up with that idea on the way home today. And I said, man, that is something we could do out there really cheap that brings other people to the park. And so I'm certainly open for suggestions from you guys on other things we can do out there. One thing on your facility that we really, really intend to do is, and I'm probably repeating myself by now, is to make it a lot prettier, make it a lot more aesthetically pleasing than your average softball complex and baseball complex. I mean, there's a million ways to do this project cheaper than what I'm showing you. But the way I've been to, I'm 73 years old. I've been to a few city council meetings in my past, and my favorite, or least favorite, I guess I would say, feedback I get from council members is this quote, is this term, is, wouldn't it be cheaper if? Well, the answer to that question is yes. It would always be cheaper if I do it that way. But I guarantee you that same city council member that asked me that question is driving a $70,000 pickup truck instead of a $10,000 pickup truck. So my point is that, yeah, we can do this cheaper, but I would rather see y'all do something that's competitive statewide and that really makes Beebe stand out. And I think that's the whole point, to me, of the facility. So let me go through this first board, and I know it'd be hard to see, so I'm gonna leave these here, but I printed them out on your little handout there. And so this is how I've got it laid out on the park so far, on that property. Oh, and before I do that, let me say that at the existing ball field, one of the tasks we were given is y'all got what was once a large field that has been chopped up into smaller fields. And the mayor had mentioned that y'all might like to take that back and make it into one larger field. And with all due respect to the city, Beebe, where's my parks director? Y'all need to do some work on your lighting out there. And I would be remiss if I didn't add into the budget the cost of replacing a lot of the lighting fixtures in that park. So I think at minimum, those two things at your existing ball fields, we'd want to include in the price of doing this project. But on this site, I managed to find it on Google Maps through, I think, a street entrance is called Evan Lane out there now. And we come in here on Evan Lane, that's existing roads you've got now. There would be one-way entrances to the park and one-way exit to the park. That gives us a lot more help on security, and I think would just be an easy flow for you. It leads us to a parking facility here, which is a pretty intense parking facility. This, around the perimeter of your facility, is a walking and bicycling trail. And I've already been given the task of adding to your bicycling trails in this park, and we have every intention of adding more to this drawing, and we will do that. Then you've got your 5-field complex that you just saw, with your building in the middle, a playground here, and quite a bit of landscaping along these two roads and throughout the park. This little drawing right here, this gentleman right here pointed out, trying to remember how that was, but we drew in a little fishing pier. So handicapped children can use that pond there for fishing, and we can expand that as well. So that's sort of the layout on the park itself and how it would fit onto the property we think is the best way. One of the tasks we were given in laying it out in the park was to save as much of those old trees as we could. So I've already been asked by the mayor to move this parking lot a little bit in this direction, which was very simple to do, and save some of these trees that we'd have to lose to put it exactly where it is now. So we'll probably move that over in this direction. But that just opens up more area for your dog park if we were to do that, for example. More playgrounds, more pavilions, whatever you wanted to do. And also adds some more area we can use for bicycling and walking. So that's sort of the layout. And again, I just babble on, so y'all please feel free to interrupt and ask questions as we go. If you have any questions about our company, quickly, we're just a little mom and pop engineering and architectural company in Little Rock. We've been there since 1978, so 46 years or whatever that is, a long time. Parks and recreation and what I call quality of life projects for municipalities makes up about 70% of our workload. It has for the last 25, 30 years. This is our niche, it's what we do. The closest ball field complexes we've done to you guys is Cabot. That's a recent one we did. Heber Springs, Batesville, Paragould, Harrison, Mountain Home, El Dorado, a bunch of them. But close to you guys that you can see is certainly Cabot and Heber. And Batesville's a beautiful facility if you ever get a chance to go up there. And so we've had quite a bit of experience, and we feel like we've learned a lot on what to do and what not to do, but I always learn more, and getting feedback from council members and the public on what they would like to have is important to us, because we want to add that to the project. So please let us know. So this next shot is just to give you a feel for like what the fields are going to look like and what the dugouts might look like. So we were asked to use, and I think it's a very good idea, free-flowing dugouts with a lot of air movement through it, with timber as your ceiling and your post here, to make it look meet the rest of the park and make it look more of that kind of parky, state park kind of facility. You'll see our back screens, we use mesh for all of our, we don't use the metal fencing. We don't use the screen, what word am I trying to spit out?
Chain link.
Thank you. We don't use chain link fencing anymore. We use, mesh screens. It's a much, much, much better look. It's less obtrusive, and people think it doesn't last as long, but actually it lasts longer. You just take it down in the wintertime and put it back up. And it's durable, and it's just a better look. And anybody that's seen those backstops made out of chain link fence knows that after about 5 or 6 years, they start looking rusty and bent up. And this is not gonna look like that. It's gonna be a beautiful facility to have these kinds of screens. So that's something, but this is just views to show you. Of course, we would have awnings over your bleachers, and a lot of space. We know that bleachers at ballparks are secondary to lawn chairs. And so there's plenty of space planned in here. It's behind the home plate area on either side of the bleachers for chair, lawn chair type seating. And so there's lots of things we can do in color coding fields and naming fields and those kinds of things, and we will get there during the design stage to make sure that happens. Like the park we did in Batesville, now it's youth baseball. There's 9 fields. So each field in that park, the outfield is prorated down to 12-year-olds and under to look exactly like a Major League Baseball field. So we have one field that's Wrigley Field. We have another field that's Boston with the Green Monster. We actually have the Green Monster going up. And so each field replicates 9 different Major League Baseball fields, and the fields are color-coded to meet the colors of that team. So Fenway Park has a dark blue awnings, whereas the Cardinals Park has the cardinal red, of course. So, I mean, there's things like that we can do to theme the park, to make it sort of give it a theme. And we'll get feedback from you guys and the mayor on what that theme might be and how y'all want to move forward in that direction. But right now, we're just showing generic awnings, on the field. So we don't know where we're gonna go with that yet. But we will do something to give this park somewhat of a theme that you can name it after, kind of thing. This is just another view, aerial view looking down at what the field and the building in the middle might look like, what your entranceway might look like. Of course, your lighting. It's a beautiful piece of property, and those little ponds really add to it. This is just another view. What I show on this one is the last page I had there. You get a little bit of a more closer up view of the seating areas to see what they might look like. But it also shows a tentative floor plan for your building there. So it doesn't show the second floor, but the second floor is all press box. So the first floor includes, of course, men's and women's restrooms. Well, on this drawing, we're only showing 6 stalls. I've been planning on having as much as 10 to 12. And so we have the space in there to do that. That's a pretty large space for those restrooms. Another thing that my draftsman failed to do for me on this drawing, we got a little bit short on time, was he doesn't show a changing restroom, a family restroom. And that will be included on this floor plan. I'm not showing it right now, but I would be remiss to build this facility for you without one. And I've asked some of all these towns we've worked for, parks directors always become one of my buddies. And so I've asked several of my parks directors buddies if they ever use that family restroom. And they said, we'd kill you if we didn't have one. So that's something we really didn't show on this drawing. It's just a mishap on our part. We show lockers facilities that can easily be used for other facilities. We just got so much space there that we thought maybe there, y'all would need that. Those can be turned into office space, they can be turned into storage space, you know, whatever you want to use that square footage for. We're showing it as locker rooms right now. You got storage here, and your big concession stand. When I say concession stand, this is more of a full-scale cooking facility. So another thing, I keep saying we're gonna spend a little bit more money on yours. A lot of facilities, they don't cook. They don't wanna have the maintenance of cooking, but I've been told by the mayor and that's something that y'all really wanna be able to do here, and I agree. And so this will be built for full cooking, so you can go in there and cook hamburgers or whatever during events and raise more money and sell stuff. We have what's labeled as a coach's room. It's probably better labeled as an umpire's room. We want a room there for the umpires between games to go get cool, change clothes, or whatever it is they need to do. So that's sort of the layout. I've got a major breezeway here. So that's just a breezeway in between this, you know, the restrooms and the concession area. So that's sort of it. I'm sure there's things I'm forgetting. Well, every time I have a meeting like this, when I leave, I'm slapping myself on the forehead going, I forgot to say this or I forgot that. So I'm just sort of open for questions and any input y'all would have and what y'all would like to see us do now. The other thing is that I know that there's got to be a campaign for this. The public has to support it. So there's lots of things we will be doing if y'all ask us to. We're certainly going to enhance that video. That video is something I forced my guy at the office to get done by the end of the day today. So I'd have something to show you. But that's going to be enhanced tremendously for y'all to use as a sales tool when you present this to the public. A lot of times we provide little brochures with pictures of the site, what it's going to look like, renderings of the site, a list of the amenities of what you will have there that you can put at the post office, at the bank, at the church, wherever, and that you can leave for people. And we can do those for you, very inexpensive. We don't charge for that. So we'll be happy to provide those for you when you get ready to take this to the public. So there's lots of things like that we can help you with and hope that you'll ask us to. Because, quite honestly, I would love to see these projects get built, and I don't get paid if they don't. So, you know, so it's real important to me that we push this thing and get it done. So, anyway, did I forget anything that you want me to bring up that we discussed? And Mayor, is something I forgot?
I think the concept, it looks very great. I know that we worked rapidly to get this so we can put it on our campaign and work toward getting it passed, and we appreciate that very, very much. I don't know how we could have had any more personal attention than what you have given us, and we very much appreciate that and want to work with you on this project. You know, I think that there's just, you know, we may tweak some things as we go on, but I think we're on the path right now, and get us the video, and we'll start our campaign, and as we progress, and if the people see fit to pass this, then we'll get with you, and we'll make our changes if we need changes and additions. You know, I think where you talk about Evans Lane, we have reserved 60-foot right-of-way through there, so it's not going to be a little small street. We can have a commercial 40-foot street in there, and the lighting that's been put down through there, we pushed it back just beyond that 60-foot right-of-way, so the lighting would already be there, and then we put some lighting down on the other one where you go out by the current fishing pond. I think the current fishing pond, we couldn't have had anything or done anything any better for the community because, you know, little kids, they have to beg for a place to fish, and it's been very important. You go by there on Saturday, Sunday, it's always full, and it's looking better all the time. You know, the more we do maintenance on it, the better it looks. And there's been additions we have ordered, and we have it. We don't have it installed yet, but we have an aerator that's going to be put in that pond out there to keep it from possibly turning over, and it'll add a lot of aesthetics, and it has lighting that we're going to put with it. So that'll be done in the next couple of weeks. but everything that we do keeps on, it's just an improvement. But you know, I'm sure as we go along, there'll be a few changes.
One other little story, and then I'll get out of here and leave y'all alone. And y'all aren't gonna believe this when you think y'all are gonna think I made this one up. Mayor Robertson is so soft-spoken. And my stupid wife's corgis ate my hearing aids about a month ago. Those things are expensive. And I'm not real fond of that dog to start out with. And so I have to make him repeat himself about half the time, so I apologize for that, Mayor. He's had to struggle through this with me.
I understand, and
I'm
do
gonna
the
get him
same.
replaced real soon, I promise.
Now, I tell you, we have a gentleman here in town that everybody knows, he's 90, and he's a great guy, everybody just loves him to death, but he got him a new dog, and that dog has ate 3 sets of hearing aids thus far. And so tomorrow, he's supposed to pick up his new hearing aids, and we told him this morning that it's a coffee shop, said when you get those hearing aids in the morning, just set them on the counter and hit them with a board. I don't know how many VA he's gonna give him, but he's on his 4th set.
Okay. Well, the hearing aid donation, both will be out there today. So I need them bad. Okay, well, I appreciate everything, you guys, and y'all got my card, and certainly the mayor knows how to get in touch with me. And anything we can do, or any changes you want to see, or suggestions, I'm certainly open to adding those to the project. And I will have a really good cost estimate to the mayor within the next week or 10 days on exactly everything to pan out. But our goal is to get it all done within the budget. And where we are right now, we're within what the dollar figure we were given, our target. So I'm not real concerned about that at this point. Now, if we start adding a whole lot of major stuff, that may be different. But right now, I think we're in good shape. So, okay, well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys later. I guess I'll get out of here now.
Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
let you go, you gotta drive by.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Ritter Communications had called and they wanted to meet with the city, and I just suggested that they come to the council meeting tonight and just give us an update so we're all on the same page and we all know what's going on. So, whoever's representing Ritter, you have the floor.
I'm staying behind the podium, so if I fidget
Okay.
too much, not too official, but just keep me still. So my name's Katie, this is also Katie, and this is Michael. We are with Ritter Communications, we all work within the construction department in some shape, form, or fashion. So we have been in Beebe now for quite a while. We sat here over a year ago and met the first time to say that we were coming and we were gonna bring our fiber, and with that was going to come construction. And that is what we have brought so far. So we have done quite a bit of digging, we've done quite a bit of, thank you. We've done quite a bit of work here. We're really pumped about all the areas that we've covered. We are down to 3 neighborhoods left for our original plan for Beebe. So we are wrapping those up. We have one that's gonna finish this week as far as the construction piece. After that, we have another one that should wrap up before the end of the month, and then one that may roll into the beginning of September, but we're pretty close with that. So the original round of construction will be over. The biggest piece that we wanted to cover, we work in the construction communication department. We wanted to make sure that the residents in the city are fully equipped to get a hold of us once we are out of the area. So, you know, we still have Right Fiber and Ritter trucks in the area every day right now. Once the construction piece is done, that may not be the case. You may not see us every day, but there could still be issues that arise as we move forward. So whether there be settling of the boxes that we put in the ground, whether there be lines that haven't been buried yet, whatever it is, if there are any issues, we want to make sure that y'all can get a hold of us. So that's one of the biggest reasons we came, to make sure that the communication doesn't end with us. And then also, as we move into the next phase, you're going to see some different faces. So we've been here before, but the next round that comes in is typically our sales team. So we'll potentially have door-to-door sales reps in areas that solicitation is allowed. So you may see those people in the area coming and offering services. They can sign residents up at the door. They bring a little iPad around, they take their information, plug it into the system, and can get them signed up for services that day. or just get them put in the database and somebody from an inside sales can give them a call. So that's the next group that you'll see, as well as I&R, so install and repair. That group comes in after us. They'll come and tap off the main line and run the drops from the main line to the house to actually get these resident services. So you'll start seeing those around as well. Typically they're in Right Fiber trucks. Right Fiber, Ritter, we're synonymous. So if you see either one of us in there, you know who we are. The numbers are always on the side of the trucks, but I'm also going to leave some cards for our hotline. We tried to distribute those all throughout the construction process, but we want to make sure we really ring that home one more time so that we don't leave Beebe any worse than we found it. We only want to better the community. And then the last point, I promise I don't work in sales, so I'm really not good at like giving a pitch. But I want to make sure that you all know that we are a partner with the community. So if there's anything that we can do to plug in with you guys, we're also here for that. So again, maybe our trucks won't be here every day, but we are a neighbor. We do have people that are from the community that work with us. And we want to make sure that we stay engaged. So we are a Badger Booster Club sponsor. And we've had huge success with that. We've met some of the coolest people. And it's been really beneficial for us. Everybody that I've talked to today has been like, that's been one of the most involved programs we've been in. So that's really exciting for us. If there's any other opportunities for us to do that, we want to make sure that we get plugged in. So we'll leave some contact information with y'all, just so that we can all stay in touch. But with that, do y'all have any questions, comments, concerns for us?
I want you to tell us exactly all the services that are being offered.
I can. I actually have a brochure. I brought it this time because last time I could not do that for you. So we have internet, phone, and cable services. And I can leave a bunch of these. They have all the prices in them because, again, I don't work in sales, so I could not have quoted you these if I didn't try. But we have all of our internet services, anywhere from 350 meg all the way up to 5 gig speeds is what we're currently offering for residential. That's true fiber speeds, so 5 gig up, 5 gig down. Same for 350 all the way through. We also offer smart Wi-Fi now, which is one of the biggest, newest, latest, greatest things that's out there. It basically takes your regular internet and makes it exponentially more user-friendly. So it has, the coolest thing that I didn't know it did until like last week is it has a timer where you can set that your kids' phones get disconnected from the Wi-Fi at a certain time. If my parents would have had that when I was a kid, I would have been quite upset, but as an adult, it's really cool that at 10 o'clock, you can turn off your kid's phone to be able to not access the internet, or that their TV can't stream anymore. Same for any devices throughout the house. You can do it across the board. You can always see what your speeds are. You can enhance your speeds. It also kind of works as an extender. This has way more information than I can give you because it's technology far above my head. I just work in construction is what I tell people, but it's a really, really cool product. Our TV, we also have a TV lineup, so if you have any questions about if you were to switch, if you would get your same channels, we can provide the TV lineup for you guys so you know exactly what you're getting and how, and then as well as home phone. So if anybody still has a home phone that they utilize, we do still offer that service as part of our bundle. So, and I can leave these with all the prices and all the nitty gritty of that. The only sales pitch that I agreed that I would give is our biggest selling point. We do no contracts, no fees, free installation, and unlimited data with every plan that we offer. So that's part of our right by you guarantee, is that we're not out to get you. We're just a friendly neighborhood service provider. So.
Oh, you've said you've been just about everywhere now. So what areas in city limits do you offer service to? Every area, or is there some omitted?
There are some omitted. I can get a better list. I don't have a map with me. We didn't have one that didn't have some hypotheticals on it that I didn't want to share because there's some places that we haven't covered that we are still looking at. But I can get you together a list that shows exactly where we are, where we're going to provide service in the area.
And we need to provide that to the mayor's office and the clerk's office.
For sure, I can do that. There's also always the option on our website, rightfiber.com. The very first thing it's going to ask you to do is plug in your address, and it'll tell you if you're serviceable. So if anybody does that, that's another really cool feature. If you just go to the website, plug in your address, it'll tell you if you're serviceable, if we're under construction, or if we're still just looking at your area. It'll tell you one of the 3 options. And if you are in a serviceable or almost serviceable area, you can sign up for service right then and pick your date from the website, and an I&R tech will be out to get you installed as quick as you want to be.
I've already got it. It's great.
Awesome.
I got it. I mean, and we got the smart plan, so we got the pod set up, they communicate with each other. I can turn my kid's phone off, like, it's all on an app. It's a good product.
We're so glad to hear it.
Yeah.
We love the plume, so.
Yeah.
One thing I will suggest, whenever y'all start doing your door-to-door, make sure you come up here and they sign up first, because we have an ordinance against it.
Perfect, that's good to
As
know.
long as you-
We want to place that on our website that you're in town and who you are.
We'll send them by here first, for sure. We try to make sure that they make contact. They are a contractor for us. They're not internal employees, so we do require usually that they check in. So we'll make sure that that's the case before they hit the ground.
Also, too, they do have background checks on all these people that we use. All of these contractors are background checked, as well as they have operating hours that they're supposed to operate in. If they are operating outside those hours, we need to know that. We'll deal with that directly, but for the most part, we don't have typically any issues with our door-to-door sales.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually been way more beneficial than we thought. I kind of thought it was a joke when they first said we were doing door-to-door sales, because we've been doing this for 50 years and, it kind of faded out. Now we've gone back to it and it's been super successful. So we will definitely make sure we follow the proper steps to do it, but we're pumped to get them in the area and get everybody that wants some service signed up. Anything else? Anybody?
Well, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, no problem. We'll leave some of these pricing brochures and some cards in case you guys run into
Okay.
any issues. Cool. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. So on our next item, while we're on where we're at on parks and such, there is a block grant that we're gonna be applying for also, and Hardy's gonna be applying for it, but I want her to tell you about a couple other things that we have done and she's applied for, so I'm gonna let her tell you about that.
Okay, so a few months ago, White River opened their solid waste recycling grant, and I applied for that for the street department to get a new vac machine because the current one is worn out. So I just got the letter in the mail today. We kind of knew about it Friday, but we got the official letter today that we can move forward with that. We did receive the grant, so it's $30,000 towards a new leaf vac machine for picking up yard waste. That'll work with the burner that we already have. So those are substantially more than $30,000. We've got some bids for them, but we're still seeking out additional bids that may be closer to that, but we're looking at least 100,000 over.
So, yeah, we think that a vac machine like we've got comparable is gonna be around $130,000, but we also know that the environmental impact fees that we had put in place a couple of years ago that's what that's for. And we paid down on that, so on our air burner and our truck some, so, but the $30,000, that's the maximum we could get.
Yes, we requested more than that, and that was the most that anyone was awarded. So we're open to accepting bids and moving forward with that purchase, like we have the go-ahead to do that. And then I have also found a grant, it's a 50-50 matching grant for an inclusive playground. I've found some that are just above the minimum amount for that. They have to be 75,000, and I found one that's about 81. So that's just the structure. And I've kind of heard a lot of feedback from parents in our community that have that need. And we don't currently have anything like that, which is something I hadn't really thought about. We've got a lot of play areas. We don't have any that are fenced in. We don't really have any that are in a safe location, not near a street, that don't need a fence either. So we do have the splash pad coming up. It's gonna have a fence around it, but that doesn't fit everyone's needs. So we've kind of looked at some different areas. I know Mr. Carr mentioned the new ball complex and possibly putting one there, but there is a lot of access to water at that location, so some of the parents were a little hesitant about that. So we've considered firefighter park, especially since the fire station is right next door and there are medical professionals there, there's always someone there. And the health department and city hall are also very close in case there was an emergency or someone got out of the fenced area or something like that. So the deadline to apply for that grant is coming up really quick. It's in October, and they expect to fund them by December 31st. So that's something that we would need to make a decision on really quickly if we want to proceed with applying for that grant for the inclusive structure or not. But I feel like that ties into the parks thing where those children might not fit in a ball field, but they still have a need for play and activities that are inclusive.
Harley, is that, so you're saying that you think the total cost is around 81 and there's a 50-50 grant, so like the city's cost would be 40-40? Is that how the numbers kind of work?
Kind of, yes.
And I know that
The
we don't know,
minimum-
it's rough numbers, but,
The minimum that you have to spend to qualify for that 50-50 match is $75,000.
okay. So you
there-
can spend more than that, but to
Oh.
qualify for the 50-50, you have to spend at least 75,000?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I just kind of started out looking lower end of the budget. There are some that are 76 around in there. And there are certain brands that you have to go with to qualify for that grant also. The ones that are in the 75 to 80,000 range are for early childhood age children, so below 5 years old. The next age bracket would be 5 to 12 years old, and those weight limits should accommodate adult-sized children that may play like a 5 to 12-year-old. So I think that's something that we don't have a lot of already. We have a lot of smaller children play areas, but not that middle age with a higher weight limit. But the fall ratings and things like that are still lower for safety concerns. So they start at 76 or so, but they go up to 500,000 or more.
Okay.
I'm not looking at top of the budget, but I think we could get a nice play area that would fit in an area that we already have prepped ground and things like that for, with handicap accessible parking and sidewalks. Firefighter Park seems like the most turnkey option for an addition of an inclusive area. But that is just the structure, not fencing or turf or rubberized flooring or anything, which would be needed too.
The deadline is October to apply. We know that we have an election in November, and then for the play structure would be, if that were to pass, we would have to purchase by the end of December.
Yes.
And so, I mean, that kind of gives us a timeline there to work with, whether or not, how we want to pursue this.
Is there a max on the 50-50?
No.
Or is it, they just match 50-50 for whatever you spend?
Yes. There are some limitations as far as the brand. They only fund, there's like 5 different play structure brands, so it's only those. And those are the ones that I kind of narrowed down to find something on the lower price range.
What we're asking y'all is, do you want us to pursue this?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Absolutely.
no-brainer. Anybody that's gonna give us half the amount of money to help, children in need, that's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
No,
Okay.
we'll have to bring back,
Yeah, after.
there'll be a bunch of paperwork that you guys
Okay.
will have to approve at some point, so.
Do y'all have any other questions about it or feedback on things you might want in that area from things people have said to you?
No, I think we need to name it a policeman park. We got a fireman park.
We're looking at,
No,
we're looking at utilizing
Shots
a
fired.
piece of ground at Firefighter Park because of the, like I said, the handicap accessibility,
We can
the
just rename it.
sidewalks.
the police and fire park.
Yes.
We measured that over there today, and it fits within the perimeters of what it would take. Matter of fact, just a little bit bigger than what we think, but it would give you some
Room for growth.
So would you be leaving the, play structures that's there, or would we move them to another location?
No, I think
The
everything
play-
that's there stays there, but then the little inclusive part goes where the basketball
Gotcha.
courts are. Those come down, and then the inclusive part's right there, and it has sidewalks already to it, and it has some hard surface there that we can build from. So
Now, is there a way that we could get suggestions from somebody that has?
I met with a parent last week that gave me a lot of feedback. Like, the fence thing is something that I'd never thought about.
Awesome.
You can tell a lot of kids, don't go outside of this boundary. But all kids, you can't say that to, and then listen and understand it. And then also, she talked about some other features on inclusive playgrounds in other towns that don't really work. And so I kind of looked at that when I was kind of trying to pick between different play structures that were available for the grant. Like, this doesn't work, children love this, those types of things. And I want to have more conversation with her about what she thinks about some of the pieces that we have too. But as he mentioned, the area that we're looking at Firefighter Park is bigger than the area required for the actual play structure. So additions could be made later with individual pieces. Kind of like at the pond, it didn't originally have a slide.
Mm-hmm.
I had tons of people telling me, my kids love going there, but they always wish there was a slide. And so we were able to add a slide a couple of years later inexpensively, and we had the room to put that with the fall space required and stuff.
Can we do any in-kind work for that grant?
It's not a state grant, so it's not a Parks and Tourism grant. From what I've read, it seems a little more flexible than the state parks grants. So I think that in-kind labor would probably work well with it. And with the area already having the hard surface, we know that like dirt work, groundwork, all that stuff has kind of already been in place. So we're not gonna have to worry about drainage and all these other things that we've had to do at some of the other places.
I think it sounds great. Good job, Harvey.
Thank you.
A couple of things that I know that we've all heard a little bit about intersection of Priest Road and Ballpark Road, and the dust is coming from the big trucks coming back and forth. I met with the county judge. I talked to the county judge a few days ago and met with her today. And so they're going to be looking at a joint venture between the city and county where they may chip seal that. It may not get it in this year, but next year they talk about getting it in next summer. It's already getting late in the year. So, but she met today. She's going to get back with us on that. And all the left turn signal things that we've encountered, the highway department is coming in anytime, and they're going to do another study and look at all the traffic counts and see what they can do to assist with the left turn signals. There was one other thing that out on Lloyd Henderson Road, Mr. Martin is putting in about 7 or 8 or 9 lots right along. And it doesn't have to have any kind of sewer and water extensions, but there's water and sewer there. And they contacted me about hooking up, and I told them that I did not think that we would give them water or sewer, and it's just my opinion, and I told them I didn't have the final say on it. I would not give them water or sewer until they brought that in the city limits. And the reason for that would be to safeguard the property values of all the other people. We have 150 homes going in out there, and if we don't have zoning regulations for those 7, you know what's going to happen. They're a little bit extra large, 14,000 square foot lots. So we'll be dealing with zoning regulations that would affect the property values of the people. So they seemed like they would go ahead and bring it in, and I gave them the paperwork to start the annexation.
On that Ballpark Road and Priest, when you're talking about chip sealing, are you talking about going all the way down Ballpark?
When I talked to them, they said when they go off the hill there at Priest, they're gonna go all the way down to George Sells. And so not just a little ways, but when you go on Ballpark, just keep going over the crest of the hill at Paul Bevel's house, sits on the left, just go over the crest of the hill. They're talking about chip sealing and all that. Everything else is already asphalted.
So chip seal down past cross printing
Yes, they're gonna go past it.
and down to the curve, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's one other thing about the subdivision, and I've had several calls on it, the subdivision on Duggar Road. we received a request for rezone from R1 to R4. And so I called and spoke with them about it, and as I said, this sounds like the exact same thing that we just did. Yes, it is. But they wanted to make application for rezone once again. The only way that they can make that application, the only way it can be heard for a public hearing to be considered is for 3/4 of the planning commission to override the current zoning regulations by 3/4 of the commissioners to hear the project. And so, and I explained that to the engineer that you can do the application, but it won't be heard until there's a motion to override the zoning regulations of 6 months. So you may be wasting your application money, and it's gone, and you don't even get it heard. First thing that's got to happen is for them to waive the requirements of the 6 months. So that's where we're at on that. I think ready to start with item number 1.
Okay. Water Department financials were in your packet. Me and Carol are both here if you've got questions for them.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the BB Water and Sewer financials for the month of July. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all right. Planning and zoning will be next. You had minutes of July the 2nd in your packet.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the P and Z minutes from July the 2nd. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I'm gonna apparently there was some extra stuff put in the packet that wasn't supposed to be there, so I'm gonna let you explain what you actually need approved.
What we're looking at tonight is basically the rezone of 4 parcels that are currently R3. They're gonna be in with the Central Arkansas Auto Auction property, and they just need to be, it's just a cleanup thing, they need to be rezoned C2.
So that's what the ordinance is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you had an ordinance in your packet, 2024-19.
Make a motion we read by title only.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, to read ordinance number 2024-19 by title only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance number 2024-19, an ordinance to amend the zoning map with regards to the zoning classification of a specific land area within the city of Beebe, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as read.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman McCormick?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot is absent. Alderman McLean?
Yes.
I need a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
So moved. Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman McCormick?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause.
So moved. Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Alderman McCormick?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
That passes. Anything else for P and Z? Okay. On to the clerk's office. Their financials were in your packet. Any questions? Ask the mayor.
We're all good.
Motion to approve as a whole. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the financials for the city of Beebe for the month of July. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Mike, you want to talk about the millage?
Well, for the record, that's what she said, told the auditor too. Millage rate is the real estate property. We had it at 1.8 mil. If you want to continue with that, that's as low as we can go, and that's, I don't care to raise it.
Need a motion?
Yep.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion, a second, to leave the millage rate at 1.8. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I will get that off to the clerk's office. Okay, we've already talked about the solid waste grant. Anything there? That's all I got. That's it.
We can do, just a short executive session for a minute, and
Motion to go into executive session. Second.
I have a motion, a second, to go into executive session for the purpose of personnel. All in favor? Any opposed? Tonight, they started in Independence and now they're in Russellville.
But is he on his way home?
Is on?
No, he's going to New Orleans.
Oh.
I give it to you. Thanks for me.
All right, thanks for hearing me out on that, and, anything else tonight? Any motions to,
Motion to adjourn.
okay,
Second.
thank you.
It's right there. Right there, man. He said you put them in each.